Asteroid City. You seen it? You haven't seen it? Okay, let me tell you about it. It's the latest Wes Anderson movie. He's a director who does quirky movies with painterly like backdrops and set design. His films are kind of like dioramas, you know. Very symmetrical. They have a lot of color. They're whimsical. They're a bit how do you say? They're fun, I guess. They have a very particular style. You've probably seen some of Wes Anderson's movies, right? Bottle Rocket was like his first major hit. The Royal Tenenbaums was another big one of his. Life Aquatic, Darjeeling Limited. The Budapest Hotel was a recent Oscar winner, I think. And last year, I think, or a couple years ago, who knows? I don't. He made The French Dispatch. That was the last one before this one. This one here is about people getting stuck. I think it's like in the 50s setting, in the 50s America, in some desert city or desert little town really called Asteroid City, where there's a crater because I guess an asteroid landed there. It's all desert like, I said that, and people get stuck there because something happens and they're quarantined there. I guess I will get to spoilers at some point, and I will put on a little message on the screen indicating spoilers. But until then, I guess I'll give my impressions. Well, first of all, I'm not the biggest Wes Anderson fan. Like, I think Moonrise Kingdom is my favorite of his, and Fantastic Mr. Fox probably. He does stop motion too sometimes. They're pretty cool. And I haven't seen all of them. I've seen most of them, but the ones I've seen a long time ago, really. Except for French Dispatch, which came out like last year. But I admire the craftsmanship, the work and effort it takes to design and set up all those beautiful sets. Perhaps he leans a little bit too much into his aesthetic. Perhaps it would be nice to see him branch out a little bit. And he does a little bit in this stylistically, but it's still a bona fide Wes Anderson joint, you know. This film in particular was okay. It wasn't the top of the list Wes Anderson. It's kind of, it has his usual quirky characters. This time, I think even a little bit more introspective than before. But there's Jason Schwartz, father figure, who is a bit lost, is a bit in mourning, which we'll save for why in spoilers. But and then we've got an actress figure, Scarlett Johansson. We've got who plays an actress. Well, there's actually more to that, but again, we're not spoiling it yet. And there's young kids in there, or there's young kids, but they're also like teenagers. There's a little romance there, So typical stuff typical characters you would see in a Wes Anderson movie. and it gets a little meta. It gets a lot meta, and actually, and and one of the major questions about the movie is, what does it all mean? What's the meaning of life, etc., etc., which is a bit broad, of course, but um, it's not boring or anything, but it's not for everybody. But let's get into spoilers, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the movie in stills and just. I actually did write some notes too, and just off the cuff, just see, just like, take a look at it and see what I think about it, or remind myself, oh yeah, this scene, this happened, and I didn't like that, and I like this. That's what you're here for. Just chatting. We're just chatting. We're reviewing, chatting, talking, discussing about a movie. It's all fair use, folks. We're not replacing your viewing experience. We're augmenting it. We're complementing it after the fact. Unless you don't care about spoilers. So let me look. Let's find that spoiler tag on this OBS system I got going on here, in my spaceship here. Let's see. Here it is. Spoilers. Now you just have to move it so you can actually see it. Well, now it's behind the thing. Okay, I got to bring it up over here. Here we go. Spoilers, folks. You better watch out. You better think twice before you continue watching, because you might get spoiled. No one wants to get spoiled, right? What kind of person are you if you want to get spoiled? You're a person who doesn't care. That's okay. You don't have to care, because life is short, and sometimes you're not interested in the twists and turns of a story. You just want to hear some space elf talk about it, right? That's understandable. Completely understandable. Let's check it out. Let's check out this movie here. And maybe we'll take away the window behind it. And then we'll add a title on top. Segment title, Chatting Asteroid City. Look at that. Now it's like we're watching a movie in space, huh? Isn't that cool? That's pretty cool. I think it's cool. Maybe we'll move the spoiler thing a little somewhere else. Does that work? The thing is, I want people to see spoilers on the thumbnail, in case that's probably fine. I don't want to like cover too much of the screen. We can cover a little bit of the screen. We can also move it up a little bit, maybe. That's cool. That's fine. So, folks, Asteroid City. Again, I'm not the biggest Anderson fan. I feel like there has been some talks that he's a bit insensitive when it comes to race in some of his movies. I believe Isle of Dogs, there's a bit of a debacle there of how the Japanese were kind of just backdrop. I don't know, but I haven't seen the movie. That's just something I want to disclaim. Have a disclaimer right there. I don't even think I watched Darjeeling Limited. I think there's some issues there with appropriation of Indian culture. I think I've definitely seen scenes of it. I don't even know if I watched that one. But this one is an American story, Asteroid City. 1950s. It breaks the fourth wall even more so than his other films. As we see here, it kind of begins in a TV program. It's a TV program. Bryan Cranston here's his character is introducing the idea of Asteroid City as a play. Actually, see, the movie has all these layers. It's like a play within this TV program, within a movie we're watching, and the characters, the black and white is typically the, more, I guess it's like part of the program, but also like the story of writing the play. And this is here we have Edward Norton as the playwright. And then Bryan Cranston's like narrating. When it gets into color, that's the actual play, but it's not really. I mean, it's designed. The set design is kind of like a play. The background is, I believe, a fake background, like the mountains back there. But the camera moves around like a movie, So it's a bit, it's not exact in its representation of what we're watching, whether it's a TV program, a play, or whatnot, which is interesting. And I'm sure it can get a little bit confusing if you're not really paying attention, because this character is actually an actor, in this play, right? And later we see him in the black and white segments, like basically auditioning for the role, like right here. This is how he gets the role to play that actor. And you know what's interesting about this scene? Maybe I have to rewind a little bit. In the background here, we've got some cowboys. And there's even a cowboy without any pants on. I don't know if I can get to it. It's a little bit sluggish, this technique, this thing I'm doing here, where okay, there we go. You see that? That's a cowboy's butt right behind Jason Schwartz. And that indicates that's little hints, like, hey, this playwright, he likes butts, and he likes cowboy butts, and he likes particularly manly butts, and that's why they end up kissing at the end of the scene here. Just a little flavor text, Why not, And in a way, I don't even know. Has Wes Anderson ever? Is he straight? I don't even know if Wes Anderson is at all queer at all, but because that character is kind of representing Wes Anderson, because he wrote this movie, right? Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I can look it up later. Maybe someone can let me know in some comment section somewhere. But anywho's, we got Scarlett Johansson in this movie too. She also plays an actress. She's probably my favorite part of this movie. Really, everyone else is okay. I mean, Jason Schwartz is great too, but I think Johansson is the standout performance here. So all these layers, right? And that's cool. And as you can see, it's a Wes Anderson movie. It's symmetrical a lot of the time, most of the times. It's painterly. Changes up the framing. That's pretty cool, right? Like, now we got a different aspect ratio. Tilda Swinton's in there. A lot of people are in here. That's another thing. It's a Wes Anderson movie. Lots of people love. Lots of big actors and actresses like to work with Anderson. Jeffrey Wright, right? Is his name? So yeah. The thing about the movie, though, is that it's all about uncertainty, really. like the alien lands. I don't know if it's this scene, might be this scene. And steals back the asteroid. They're all celebrating, and that's like an unexpected moment. And like, what does everyone do? They just stare, and then they're like, okay, then the whole place goes under quarantine, and they're stuck there for a while because the president, etc., and the government's like, wait, we gotta make sure this doesn't get out. This new information about an alien, and it does eventually. Here the kids are celebrating their great science projects, pretty much. The kids are pretty cool. I feel like maybe Wes Anderson should do more movies with kids. I think that's why I kind of like Moonrise Kingdoms. Like, I mean, the kids are a little bit precocious, but as usual for his films. But it's fun, it's like I think you can get away with a lot more fun stuff when you're like when Wes Anderson does like his kid stories, the romances, the uncertainties, the insecurities, like all that stuff. I think it fits really well with his style. But yeah, where was I going with this? The uncertainty, the ambiguity, that's what this movie's about ambiguity, and it's totally ambiguous. The characters themselves question the meaning of life, but they question what the fuck is going on. As an actor, later on, Jason Schwartz asked the director, played by Adrian Brody, like, what is going on? I don't understand this play. And Adrian Brody's like, just do it, just play, just feel it out. And that's kind of like a core theme of the story, it seems. I think Wes Anderson's trying to say something about art, about how when you're creating art, you just gotta go with the story and go with it and not overthink it too much, which is a take, and I could definitely appreciate that idea of art, and that's definitely a way of doing art. That's definitely the way that he does it, right? I feel like he's focused mostly on the look and mostly the aesthetic and the and the characters too, but he's not going for any particular message or particular theme. The theme just kind of comes about naturally in his works, right? He's not a message filmmaker, and that's kind of and when the alien hits and people are questioning everything, I guess that's representative of how it's like to make art. Like, certain things happen and you just go with it. Like life, in life, you just gotta adapt. You can't really have a full-on plan all the time. You just never know what's gonna happen. And I think that's how he makes his art, maybe. I mean that's what I'm getting from the movie. The movie is about artists, whether it's a writer, whether it's actors, interpreting things, trying to bring to life something, trying to make deliver some emotion through and expressing it, and then trying to present it to people and see what they think. But of course, actually, there isn't much audience in this movie. It's all about the performers doing the performance. A further breaking of fourth wall maybe would have been like Anderson investigating the audience, maybe interrogating the audience. That would have been interesting, right? There's so many layers in this film. Maybe that's a future Wes Anderson movie where he takes a step back and turns the camera. People sitting in the audience, and they get up at the end and walk away, and now we follow them. I don't know. That's the kind of thing I kind of want to see from him. Something that goes beyond what he's been doing for so long. And I feel like with all the layers in this movie, he's definitely like going in that direction and like expanding. But it's a bit, and it's maybe I just want to see more. I want to see him go further in that direction. There's also an interesting scene. All these scenes with Johansson and Schwartz are probably the standout scenes, really. I mean, not just because how they're framed or anything, but just the whole meta commentary of like, oh, like they're acting out a scene, but they're also in a play, referencing the actors' real life, referencing the actors themselves, Johansson and Schwartz. Like it's all super meta layered all around. So that's really interesting aspect. And I think an earlier scene, an earlier one, she's like, they're going over a scene of her getting out of the shower, right? And she's getting a divorce and stuff. And then she mentions how they'll shoot it tastefully when her bathrobe drops, and only shoot from behind, and to see your legs only. And she's talking about how like, oh, like I'm gonna get divorced, so forget about me in a sense, and remember me like a blurry image in a rear view mirror, something like that. She says, and then we actually see her reflection like out of focus in the mirror, which is interesting. That's another example of like just the references they're making, the different layers of, she's talking about her marriage, but also talking about how it would be shot in the movie, but we're also seeing it within this movie, and it's even a layer different. Like she's describing it as only seeing her legs, but we actually see her reflection out of focus, in this movie, which relates to the line about her, about the line she said about the rear view mirror. So I thought that was interesting. And here she's even questioning, like, I think Schwartz like burns his hand here, and she's like, oh, you actually did it in real life. Or is it just, or are we watching just a play? Are we watching her react to an actor burning his hand, or are we watching an actor pretending to burn his hand? And does it matter as long as there's emotion? Is the truth the emotion that's going on the screen versus what's actually happening? So therefore, the story, the plot, is perhaps the least important thing about a movie, about an art piece. What's more important is what you get out of it, the emotion, so is that what Wes Anderson is talking about here? But again, I feel like let's go deeper, let's go further with that concept, and let's experiment with different types of characters too. Like Jason Schwartzman here, he's mourning because his wife died, who is played by Margot Robbie. She gets a scene out of the play, so in a way, is he commenting on the fact like, oh, these movies maybe that I've made before. I'm talking as if I'm Wes Anderson. Maybe I've made movies before where, it's focused on the male lead and the women are in the backdrop. Is that what he's commenting on? Is he commenting on fridging? And then here we have a scene like, oh, let's actually include a scene with the actress that played the wife that died. But then again, it's only a short scene, So is it making much of a difference when you give Margot Robbie only a short scene? Of course, she's probably busy playing Barbie at this moment, right? When this movie was filmed or something, right? And she couldn't make it to be in the whole movie. Maybe that's what the scene's about. About how sometimes you can't have an actor on your movie for that long, and so you have to cut whole scenes out. And then one of the ending lines that I found a little bit on the nose, but like, okay. Like, it ends kind of with the screenwriter character or the playwright character wondering like about what to do for a certain scene, about his character's like being in this slumber, and then Jason Schwartz pops out and he's like, you can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. And then everybody repeats it. It's like a bit repetitive, but so what is he saying there? Is it like, in order to, like, what I take from that when I first hear that line, it's like, in order to understand that you've been unattentive to the world and to life and to the realities of the world, you have to first be in that sleep, be in that trance, and be subjected to whether it's propaganda or the calming nature of just society, to then you have to be in that state in order to like wake up from it and realize, oh shit, I've been unaware of the world of reality for so long, of what's actually going on. I mean, but or is he talking more about just perhaps we shouldn't be over analyzing art or these stories as much, in order to create something, to wake up and create something meaningful to you or to the world. You have to kind of like just go with it, not overthink it. Don't overanalyze your story. Just write it. Just do something. Just feel it out, and then you can wake up and kind of like, then you'll interpret it. Then you'll understand what's going on. Then you'll try to, at least. Maybe that's more what he's talking about. I feel like that's more of a Wes Anderson take. But the thing is that, like, I get that idea. I get that take, and I get that idea of like, okay, yeah, art doesn't have to have a message. It's just pure emotional catharsis for an artist in a way, and it's up to us to just take it in and interpret how we see it and how it fits within our worldview, etc., etc. And so I get that. I do like a lot of movies like that. I'm a big fan of Finch of David Lynch. I'm a big fan of Bergman's movies. But those movies I feel like are even more like dreamy, and then they have characters that I actually am more interested in, and I would watch a lot of those movies again. But for Asteroid City and a lot of Wes Anderson movies, I don't really have that feeling. It's like I'm not really interested in watching this movie again. People say, oh, you should watch Asteroid City more than once to really get all the nitty gritty stuff, all the details, and sure, I'm sure I would be able to appreciate more of the details, but I guess the characters overall in general just hasn't motivated me to revisit it again. Like, I don't, I saw it yesterday, and I don't think I want to. It's not a movie I'll probably revisit anytime soon, if ever. I'd more soon revisit, like I said, Moonrise Kingdom or Fantastic Mr. Fox, something like that. So in a way, it's like, yeah, this movie is kind of like, it's kind of like a mid Anderson movie. I'm sure a bunch of Anderson fans out there are gonna eat it up, ate it up, eaten it up, have eaten it up, have ate it up. I don't know. But me, it's like, okay, that was interesting, but I want a little more. I want some more. Maybe we'll see more in future Anderson joints. Maybe we'll. I don't know. But those are my general chatty ideas. Oh shit, I just got some encoding overloading.